Hey everybody, how's it going? Today is a big update. This is 31.0 and it's a huge one. This is honestly I would say this is a monumental change to Monster Strike gameplay wise. There are huge changes here that you really need to make sure you understand. I've tried my best to visualize them the best for you, and hopefully it makes sense. And if you have any questions, of course, make sure you leave a comment and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. But without further ado, let's get going because there is actually a lot to go through today. Um, First, of course, you've probably noticed it already, the event quest overhaul. This is huge, and honestly, like I said earlier, I think this is a game-changing moment for Monster Strike, which I believe is for the better, but we'll have to see it in action. I personally love it. I've used it already, and it is amazing. Anyways, the summary here is that the way events work in Monster Strike have been completely changed. Now, quests are available in 24-hour sessions. The session starts at noon and will last until 11:59 a.m. the next day. Of course, this is in Japan time, so make sure you know what noon Japan time is for your time zone. For me, that would be 8 p.m. And of course, there's a good way to tell us. You can go to the schedule. The schedule will adjust your time zone. Oh, it will adjust it to your time zone, right? So I'm in California, and that is 8 p.m. Pacific to line up with noon Japan time. So you should make sure you understand when is your time slot when these event quests. And as you can see, the events are now set in that section now rather than 2 hour sessions, 3 hour sessions that we had before. Um, in general, each quest can be played for 2 hours within that time session that we were talking about. Now, some quests might be a little bit different. You'll see a few, especially I think new events will have 3 hour sessions. Some events you can only play once, some will be available 24/7. You just have to look at the gauge timer, which we'll talk about in a second, which shows how much time you can spend in said quest. And so, like I said, you can look in the schedule here and see, okay, so the upcoming session will have Saiwa Ichini, Dies Ile, Kagagosedek, Hihiro Kane, Kai, Havizel, Zex, and Fenedy. And so you can, you know that these are the quests that will be available for that day. Now, like I was saying, there's a gauge associated with each quest, and that shows how much time you can play for that quest. Again, rather than having a static 2 hour window when you had to play the quest, the game will now take into account how much in game time you took to play that quest. It is not a timer from when you first start playing to the quest and then the 2 hours start from there. That is not how this works. You are able to distribute the time you play in game however you want. Now, there is a word of warning here. It is in game time. So if you end up opening your game, leaving it there, and walk away, that in game timer is still going on. However, if you hit the home button and exit from the game, you do something else, like you get a message from your friend, you have to go check your email, you're now playing a different game for whatever reason. As long as you are not spending time in that quest with the app active, the time will not tick. All right, it's the in-game time to clear that quest, and that when you clear the quest, that time is subtracted from your overall gauge. All right, so let's take a look at just a rough, you know, hopefully this illustrates what you can do, right? Like, let's, and this basically what happened for me, right? I Before lunch I decided to start a session of Detiako, right? And Detiako has a 2 hour gauge on it, right? I did that, took my lunch break, I ate, I did other things, I wasn't playing while eating, right? So I just closed the app and let that go. And then later in that day, I did a 1 hour 15-minute session, let's say, right? did that, took another break, and then finished off at 30 minutes, right? Once I finished off that 30-minute session, that accounted for my whole 2 hours for that day, and then I'm not able to play it for the rest of the day anymore, right? And then, of course, October 15th noon is going to be the cutoff time. Now, let's say I was going to play Saioa, right? The new quest event. That new quest event is 3 hours long, right? You know, you've seen some events be a little bit longer in time. We can do that full 3 hour session. Oh, I ran out of time, and then it's done for that day. You'll have to wait until the next day, for which I believe it was on the schedule to play again. So hopefully that illustrates the point that you can play, stop, play, stop, play, stop, and then once you have used up your time, then it's just gone from the event quest, right? So, other summaries, again, like I said, when a quest remaining time has hit 0, it will be removed from the screen, and you will no longer be able to play it, with an exception, which we'll talk about on the next slide. And then, of course, win or lose, the time amount you spent in that quest will be reduced from the gauge at the end of the game. Even if you play as a guest in co-op, time spent will be reduced from your gauge. This isn't a thing that you can, take advantage of the host only. You as a guest will also be spending your time on this quest. Quests that are available 24/7 will not have a gauge, and some quests may have different start end times than the normal noon start or 11:59 a.m. end, depending on the event. I would assume collabs will play like this. Any debut quests will not start at noon, but rather at probably 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Japan time, like we've seen. But it will end at the 11:59 a.m. slot. Which again is great for us non-Japanese folks. So that's pretty cool. And of course, what if you missed a quest? We do still have the time shift feature. You can spend a travel bell or an orb, or I think now you can actually watch a commercial for your first of the day to recover a quest. If a quest original session was within 48 hours from the moment you are trying to use this bell, you can recover 1 hour of time for that quest. You can also use time shifts on multiple quests at once before you overwrote a quest. That will no longer be the case. You just have that hour gauge that you can use. When playing co-op, as long as everybody has time on their gauge left, you can play together. Remember before, if you had a time bell active, all other people also had to have a time bell active to play in that quest. That's no longer the case. The only important thing is you have time left, and that's the only necessity to play together. Now, this is very important. When you do a time shift, you have 3 hours before that 1 hour of time disappears, right? Basically, you must spend the 1 hour of gameplay, again, distributed however you want, but it must be within the 3 hours you use the bell. And so I have another graph here. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense, right? So today is October 14th, noon. Let's say it's 8 p.m. and I decide to use my bell, right? I can look at all the quests that were available 48 hours from then. So all quests that started on October 12th noon, October 13th noon, of course, and then obviously I wouldn't be using a bell on any October 14th quest, but any of those yellow or blue quests are up for grabs. I picked the one that's highlighted in green, and now I am starting my time shift. And so now you see that 3 hour gap is available, right? I start playing, I take a break. I play again, I take another break. I play one more time, and I've spent all my hours worth of gameplay, and there's no more to be played, even though I have some hours left in that gap. So 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. is my limit to use that 1 hour of time that I gained back from the travel bell. All right? Hopefully that makes sense. If not, let me know in the comments. But hopefully it's clear that way. Now, as part of this change, the stock feature has been retired. I think it's not that big of a loss. You still have that hour of time available as part of the travel bell, and I think that should give you more playtime in the end, honestly, unless the quest is really long. So I do believe this is a better way to recover quests or wait until Monster Strike Day, for example, right? Mon Pass users are not able to use the two quest stock feature because, again, you can use multiple travel bells at the same time now, so everybody gets this feature essentially. The feature to turn on or off the tracking of time on certain quests, that was a feature. If you did use that, it's removed because now it's forced on, right? Everything is going to be tracking time by necessity because of this altering of how events work. So that's the event quest overhaul, and you can see here, right, like it'll show you how much time left before the next session begins. And you can see I played a bunch of Detiako earlier today, and I've only spent 48 minutes. I finally got Detiako. Well, actually, I cleared Detiako and got him to 13, which is really awesome. I guess I could actually max luck him because the quest was pretty awesome. I'm on a 4-game winning streak right now, right? 4 for 4. So if you have any questions, do let me know. I know it is different, but I think it is pretty straightforward, and I think everybody will like the change. I honestly don't see a bad thing yet. The only thing I can imagine is it might be a little bit more difficult to find people playing together co-op, because now instead of a concentrated 2-hour window, 3-hour window, you have a 24-hour window, which is distributed amongst the players. And so while, for us in the States, if we're playing a quest that's 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in Japan, that might be a little bit harder to find people compared to something that's in prime time, 7, 8, 9 p.m. Japan time. So that we'll have to see how that affects gameplay. But I still think it is a huge plus in the end with this overhaul, and I am hats off to Mixie for making this change. This is a huge overhaul that could not have been easy, and I am absolutely impressed and what's the right word? Just in awe that they were able to make this change, which seems to be nothing but positive in my honest opinion. So great job, Mixie, there. Waku Waku Bank. This is pretty awesome. You can now directly deposit berries to the bank from the results screen. Instead of placing a berry onto a monster, you can elect to take that berry and put it into the bank as one of your choices for your berries. Now, of course, do note that putting a berry in the bank is the same as eating a berry, so it will reset your berry counter. So be careful about that. And then you should be able to have seen in the Waku Waku Bank that there are new cages that you can pick up that may or may not be already unlocked for you. For me, I've got 2 of them already, which is of course reaching rank 500 and logging in for 100 days or more. There is another easy one that should be available, and that is going to be this guy here, which is of course to clear the abyss after version 31.0 was released. So Kinki no Goku, if you complete that, you will pick up another cage, which I guess should be coming in a few weeks. So keep an eye out on that, and you just have to complete the basic stage. You do not have to clear any of the upper shinen stages. So anybody should be able to get that fairly easily. And honestly, it, in my opinion, it at least makes it more worth it for this feature, because I still could not understand what the heck this thing was for. But if you don't have to just waste that step to place a berry on a monster, you can just put it into the bank, then yeah, I guess I see it now. New temple stage. EL berries will now have a chance to drop from this quest, and you can see here that there is, where is it? No. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's the topmost one. Yeah, so I guess it's still new enough that the that the recommended monsters aren't there. I haven't actually played it yet, as you can see, but EL berries do have a chance to drop in this quest. It's very rare. I saw a picture of somebody maximizing, trying to maximize their drops as much as possible, and a lot of them were not EL berries. I think there were four full screens, and only one of them got the EL berry. So that does mean that it's not just, if one person gets it, everybody gets it, right? It's actually individual roles for everybody. So you might be a little jealous, but it kind of brings you back to the old days when the temple was running. So for those of you people who are here from the good old days, it might either PTSD or just fond memories of farming for berries back in the day. Do note that the berry counter is going to be off in this section, so you can't try and whittle down your berries in this section. You are having to play this old school, purely random, purely at the mercy of Mixie there. So if you like that, you can play that once again. All right, friend slots. This is another huge update here. If you go to the friend usage slot, you will now be able to see that there are 5 monsters that you can set, one for each element. However, do you note that this is not something that you individually click on this element? The game will do this for you automatically based on your last selected monster. So you can see I've set 5 monsters here already, but let's change it up a little bit, right? So Lorelei, of course, is my active one right now, but let's say I wanted to put Oshino Shinobu here, right? So I'll make her my friend, and then so when you change that, whatever monster you used to use will now go into the slot that matches their element. Lorelei was already there, so it's not very interesting. And of course, the one you selected also goes into its respective element, right? So I basically updated light and light. So let's say I want to move to a different dark monster. Oops. So let's go here and let's pick Gigi, right? So I'll pick Gigi. Now Gigi is my active friend monster, and you can see he gets slotted into the dark element, right? So whatever you do, you just keep slotting it over and over, and then it's okay. Let's find a wood monster to set up, and Zadkiel, right? Great. Let's put Zadkiel in there, right? And now she takes that wood slot. So whatever you pick, the game will automatically slot it in for you, saying, hey, that is your monster that all friends can use and freely use whenever they want. So let's see. Oh, did I not? Yeah, didn't get rid of the dark element. So who do I want to put on my fire slot right now? I don't even know. There we go. Let's just put my summoner there. Right? So, this is a great way. Obviously, you've probably run into situations like, it would be nice if they would have, this guy had the wood monster that I needed for this quest, but now he has, the latest, Reizetsu OP, and so now you can't use that wood monster that you were really hoping to use. But now if you have friends and they're like, hey, do you mind setting that up? And it's like, well, I was using this for my farming. I can't really do that right now. As long as the elements don't clash, now it's just so versatile here. So this is a huge update. And do note that this only applies for the 6-star monster. Your 5-star monster is still only one selectable character. And also, you can look at, your friends list, and I did set it for my alt. So I wonder if I can do it here, right? So whatever main, the active friend that they have here, yeah, I should do that. You can swipe through all the ones, right? I put Okarun, I put Falmalt here, I put the Itsuki? No. Yotsuba, sorry. Raw, and of course Lorelei Alpha, and then my 4-5-star monster. So you can also swipe through them here as you please. But honestly, this is huge, and I think this will make, the frustration of finding a particular monster in your friend list a lot more it will be less apparent, right? Now this is going to be something like if you see somebody who hasn't played for a long time, maybe it's time to jettison them out, right? Because they are basically not wasting just one slot anymore. They're wasting five total slots, right? So all of these people who haven't played for 99 days plus, maybe it's time to clean up. Honestly, anything more than a week plus, right? Anyone who hasn't gotten the update are not going to be having 5+ monsters. So something to think about to do some cleanup there. I actually probably will do that personally in the near future. Just some caveat stuff. I don't think this is going to be normal, but if it happens, for example, if you end up changing a monster's evolution form and it changes element, there are very few monsters that do that, but they do exist in the game. It will be removed from your friend slot because obviously the element will no longer line up. If you end up selling a monster or use that monster for luck or ascension material, it will be removed from your friend slot as well. Makes sense. They don't actually exist anymore. And a friend who uses any one of your 5 monsters, that will cause the other 4 monsters to be not available for them to use for some time. Of course, they are free to use as Sketomin, the yellow little icon there, the friend list refresh item, I like to say. That will allow them to use any monster again. But basically, you can think of it as I used one of your monsters, I can't use them again for some time. So it's not just one, I can use the others. It's one locks them all up just for a little time. This is, just the same way things have worked before. It's just think of it as a package from that one friend. And then some other small things. We got Mon Pass editions. If you have the basic or premium version, your Max Shin Jushinka mats increased have maximum value has been increased from 2,000 to 3,000. Do note that's for the generic ones, the ones that you farm on the quest. The elemental ones have not changed its max value. For premium users, you will be able to farm 5 chests at a time when doing the Shin Jushinka quest, rather than the normal 3 us peasants are stuck with right now. You may have noticed that the Lucky Monster menu has been moved to the home screen rather than from the monster screen. You will see that that is no longer visible on this menu. I think they do want to shrink down this menu size. It got pretty unwieldy for a while. But now the only way to access it is from this button here. And do you remember what used to be in that position? We'll talk about that in a second. The library has been reset, so if you clear a quest for the first time, once again, you will be able to get the orb rewards, but there are going to be more orbs available this time because remember, any quests that are Cho Zetsu or higher, anything that has that Zetsu kanji at the end for their difficulty will now give 2 orbs as a reward rather than 1, and of course any quest lower in difficulty will have the standard 1 orb that we've seen in the past. A bunch of new series are now in the library. If you want to go check them out, please play them as well. And a bunch of small miscellaneous updates. You may have noticed that in the missions, the stamina use quests missions here have been reset. That'll give you some orbs and tickets. They kind of alternate one by one every 500 stamina, I think. You may have noticed a bunch of box space. All new users have will now start with 400 additional space, 200 additional space, up from 400, now 600, which of course that means everybody should be getting those 200 additional box spaces. So you can see that my box space has ballooned up to 4,500. Max box space, for those of you who are crazy to expand it, almost double what I have, right? 8,700 is the new max. Welcome quest rewards have been buffed, so new players will be able to get a bunch more items to start off the game. And rank 1 stamina has been increased from 30 to 100, which of course means everybody also gets that boost. So you should have noticed a plus 70 in your max stamina version. Whenever you increase stamina with your rank, that should be 70 higher than it was More miscellaneous updates. When using Miracle Mins, it will no longer ask you to confirm it once again to use it. So that's great. It'll just speed up the game a little bit faster. There's now a daily limit of 5 rainbow balloons. When you have a rainbow balloon, there's a chance that it gives you orbs in the Mon Pass. Not Mon Pass, the Mon Spot feature, area here, right? You can get balloons even though you are outside of Japan, but I think it's a lot less likely because, you know, I don't know. I don't know how the algorithm works, but balloons are rare. The answer to what used to be in the position of the lucky monster button here was the room feature, which was never ever used. That feature has been retired and put into the dumpster. The gacha pools for these gachas have been updated. Any monsters that were in the game as of September 30th are now available in the gachas. Any of the Mon Pass reward gachas, any of the paid packs like the starting packs, the ability packs, Uncharted Dunes, and the Starry Mausoleum reward gachas will now have an updated gacha pool. Known bugs, and this is all bug fixes this time. There was some unexpected behavior with the through wall gimmick. The wall bound cannon was not giving out expected damage. Kodiego's assist skill was doing some weird stuff where it was giving bonuses to monsters that didn't have gauges on them just by having the badge or using the helper item. It was incorrectly applying bonuses, and some Android users were unable to purchase battle cards. That has been fixed as well. And of course, post update events, this will be available until October 18th. And of course, my favorite, the 50% gacha, is available here, and we'll do that real quick. Again, make sure you watch out for your Hoshidama state. This is a orb pull, so it will tick it up by 1 if you miss the coin flip. Do note that this is, of course, general pro monsters only, and this month, hey, we got a hit with, was it a book? Yeah, Kinshihen, but I do have her, so. Anyways, it's a good coin flip, and I guess I should do my alt as well. There we go. Oh, you can see my ring is just giving a terrible reflection, but what can I do? I probably need to readjust where I have my camera a little bit. What was it? Chandra. Yeah, Chandra. Okay. So that's a miss. And of course, please do not forget to play the post update Morling event. It's super easy. 5 orbs. If you haven't done it already, play it now because you'll forget. I guarantee it. So. Please don't forget about that. And that is it. Like I said, it is a huge update. I believe this is one of the groundbreaking updates for Monster Strike. Very happy to see it. Very happy to see that they are still willing to evolve this game for the better. Let me know if you have any questions because it is a lot of new stuff. So more than happy to help out as necessary. So that's it from me today. Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, do consider hitting the like button and subscribe to this channel. And of course, tonight we have new news coming. And the important thing here, Izanami. How are we going to get her Jushinka? I'm super excited. Izanami has a special place in my heart. And unfortunately, I don't think I've actually... Did I max luck her on this? On this, because I know I did it in yeah, I do have the Kai version max luck. Okay, so that's cool. I am hoping that actually they do some kind of weird thing with that sub bump combo, kind of like mix up that Kai feeling where you have them souped up. Maybe they can have it so you get that Jushinka, but you can also get a more interesting bump combo, or maybe customize some stuff. Um, that would be really awesome. I am really excited. I hope they do not drop the ball on Izanami's Jushinka. I think they understand how important this is for the old users, right? So the interesting thing is, how difficult are they going to make it? Because like I said before, Izanami was top tier difficulty back in the day, and Izanami the character here was a top tier monster when she was out there. So how this comes out, I am super excited. You will see news from me later tonight, so please do not miss out, and like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. ENGmonster on Twitter/X, and of course Discord channel. The link to that server is in the description below. That's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye bye.